Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update. And yeah, it's been a big day for Avatar Comics today. Obviously, release day for Smoke and Shadow Part 2. I've been putting out content for that most of today. And yeah, we just got some other news now, and that is that we now know what the Avatar free comic for Free Comic Book Day 2016 is going to be. It's going to be our first Korra free comic. I suppose they've made the switch from Avatar to Korra to coincide with the fact that the first full-sized Korra comic will be coming in fall 2016, so it makes sense that Free Comic Book Day taking place in May would be a great way to hype up an upcoming Korra comic, the first one, by obviously having the free comic also be Korra. So you can see obviously as the image for this video, it is the cover of the comic, and it's pretty nice. The cover seems to suggest it's potentially the origin story of how Korra met Naga. Now, we know this story in really basic form. One of the art books told us that Korra found Naga when Naga was lost in a tundra near the Southern Water Tribe, and they became friends after that. So obviously Naga got lost from her mother, I assume, or something like that, and Korra eventually found her, and that was that. So I assume this is going to go more into the details and what exactly happened there. What was Korra doing out, young Korra doing out in the middle of a tundra and stuff like that, and how did the friendship really develop, because, polar bear dog, wild animal, especially one that's lost, how did the connection actually establish itself? So it's gonna be, that sounds like an interesting story, but that said, we don't have confirmation that that's what it is. The description for what the comic actually is doesn't really say anything. It's just like, avatars, dragons and zombies. What could you be more friendly for all ages than original tales from these prime Dark Horse world? Nothing. For Free Comic Book Day 2016, take a journey with the Avatar from The Legend of Korra, the Dragon Riders from How to Train Your Dragon, and the Fun Dead of Plants vs. Zombies. So, as ever with these free comics from Dark Horse, you get some of the other franchises that they have with them as well. It just means that the Korra comic's only going to be like 10 pages or so it's going to be a fairly short story. And they do mention take a journey with the Avatar. It would kind of make sense, the journey to this tundra, away from it once she gets Naga. But at the same time, like the cover, they could very well do something where it's just a nice image and it doesn't really relate to what the comic is. But I don't see them doing that. It doesn't make much sense why they just have this image on the cover. They chose young Korra specifically for a reason. So I think that's what the story has to be. Just because it makes sense, like that. In ATLA, you got the scene where Aang and Appa met for the first time. It makes sense that we get that with Korra too and her animal. So I think it's fairly obvious that that's what it's going to be, but we don't know for sure. But anyway, Free Comic Book Day 2016 is going to be on May 7th, because it's always the first Saturday in May, which is May 7th this time around. So yeah, that's it's definitely interesting that this is what it's going to be rather than an Avatar comic. I don't think it says anything about what they're going to be doing with Avatar comics, simply because the ATLA comics, the free comics at least, they haven't done anything too fancy with them. I think Korra definitely benefits a lot more from being able to tell these kind of smaller stories every so often. So it definitely, for marketing reasons, the shift to Korra makes complete sense. And just in general, it's really nice to see Korra comics being more than just the main series that they're going to be talking about later in the year. But other thing to talk about here is our writer and artist, Mike Dante DiMartino, basically Mike, co-creator, and obviously he's going to be writing the full Korra comic as well. So it's nice to see that he's writing the free comic as well. Just like Gene Yang writes the Avatar free comics as well as the full series, and it makes sense. They're being consistent with each series and their comic writer. As seems to be tradition with these Avatar free comics, they switch artists every single time. This time around we're going to have Heather Campbell, who I assume also has done the cover here, and the art seems really good actually. So definitely like probably the best we've seen for a while with regards to like art on these free comics. So I'm pretty excited to see how this works going forward. The art seems pretty show accurate, and I'm pretty excited. But yeah, that's about all there really is to say. It's obviously going to be one of the free comics. May 7th is really going to be your only time to get this. But I assume it'll go up online, so it's just going to be one of those things for collectors when Free Comic Book Day rolls around. But yeah, we won't get the preview of this, I assume, for another 2 months perhaps. It's probably going to be February or March before we get the preview. Though at the same time, it could be earlier. These free comic books are kind of weird in that way. But yeah, that's about all there really is to say for this news update. I only found out this information myself a couple of minutes ago, so I don't have a lot of depth to go into. Other than that, okay, cool, Korra meeting Naga sounds like an interesting idea for the story, if indeed that's what it is. But in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on this free comic book announcement being Korra, and your thoughts on what they're going to do. Is it going to be the origin story, and so on. But other than that, thanks for watching this video, and bye.